So when it comes to getting the relationship we want, I mean, this is true of really any area of life, but when it comes to the relationship we want, there's a couple of things that can hold us back. We can't have the relationship we want if we're not honest about what that is. And there's two things that hold us back from that. Either we've done a lot of inner work and then we're not being honest with ourselves about what it is we actually really desire in a partner, or we haven't done the inner work and therefore what we think we want is actually masking a wound. Because that's like, that's great, Cheryl, what does that actually mean? What the fuck are you actually talking about? What that means is we want a man that's rich, famous, hot, successful, etc. to validate our insecurity and to make us feel loved because our father left when we were 5 and we have an abandonment wound. Good morning. Hola, ¿cómo estás? Ça va bien, merci, all of that. Okay, what do I want to say to you today? I wanted to check in and see how you're getting on with 5 Days to Love. If you're not in yet, the link's in my bio. I'm on day 4 and finding it quite illuminating. And I also wanted to kind of talk about what happens when we're not honest about what it is we actually want in love, relationships, life in general, but how that can pop up. By the way, how sweet is that view? I don't know if you can see it. It's a bit overexposed. Maybe it is. Anyway, it's the water and the sands. It looks beautiful. So there's some ways that this can come up if we're not being honest about the kind of partner we want, what we desire, what turns us on, our sexuality, etc, etc. So it comes up in really surprising ways. It comes up when, you know, when you're watching a film or a TV show, maybe reading a book, and you like read it or watch it, and there's like a sensation that you have, and it kind of feels like being a bit uncomfortable, feeling a bit embarrassed, feeling like you can't really look away, but like not being able to take your eyes off an actor that's like absolutely killing it, playing a really terrible human being. You know that whole thing? Might be talking about myself here. But when that happens, sometimes that's attraction, sometimes that's arousal, but it's like suppressed, so we're not acknowledging it. So in those situations, there's two things that we can ask ourselves. One, what need is trying to be met? And two, what desire is begging to be acknowledged? Hello, welcome to my favourite forest. One of them. So when it comes to getting the relationship we want, I mean, this is true of really any area of life, but when it comes to the relationship we want, there's a couple of things that can hold us back. We can't have the relationship we want if we're not honest about what that is. And there's two things that hold us back from that. Either we've done a lot of inner work and then we're not being honest with ourselves about what it is we actually really desire in a partner, or we haven't done the inner work and therefore what we think we want is actually masking a wound. Which sounds like, because that's like, that's great, Cheryl, what does that actually mean? What the fuck are you actually talking about? What that means is we want a man that's rich, famous, hot, successful, etc. to validate our insecurity and to make us feel loved because our father left when we were 5 and we have an abandonment wound. That's not what we're going for. That's not the vibing McVibington. It's not the mood. It's not what we're aiming for, right? So let's talk about them when we haven't done that inner work, specific to relationships. You might have done a lot of inner work with like coaching and what have you. Oh, this is my favourite tree. This is a really magical and wise tree. I had a moment by this tree, got some wisdom from it last time I was here. So let's sit on the magical tree of wisdom. Try not to spike my ass on the holly. Oh, this is nice. Oh shit, nearly fell over. Right, we're just gonna carry on. So when we've not done the relationship specific work and we've not really got clear on what was modelled to us as a child, and then what our relationship was with our parents, what our family home was like, what their relationship with each other was like, and what that taught us about love. If you see your parents scream at each other, you're subconscious, because you're 5-6 years old, you can't compute what's going on. You just go, oh, love's hard, check, and you like lock that away and lock it in until now, and then you reprogram it. So if you've never asked yourself the question, what was my relationship with my father like when I was small? What was my relationship with my mother like? What was my family home like? If you never asked those questions, then you probably need to. And that's something I go into in the dating drama empowerment method, which is really, I mean, I should really rename it because it's kind of a mouthful, right? The empowerment method. for overcoming relationship patterns. That's really where I go into like, here's what the method is. What's the pattern? So what's going on in relationships? Where did it come from? Like, what specifically was modeled to you? Not just like, oh, my family was fucked up, but like specifically what happened and how do we heal it? How we heal it is two things. It's feelings and beliefs. What feelings and beliefs were projected onto you, and or what feelings and beliefs were created based on what you experienced. Whew. Getting some wisdom from this tree. You might want to just watch that bit back again. That's how we heal it. And there's also a lot to be said about releasing the feelings, right? Feeling the feelings, feeling the sadness, feeling the anger, feeling the frustration, like whatever it is for you, and doing something that's going to regulate your emotions. That's emotional health. Emotional health, mental health, two different things. I tweeted about that this morning. I went on a bit of a tangent. Yeah, that's part of being emotionally healthy, right? And that's part of having a healthy relationship, is understanding how to regulate your own emotions and not expecting someone else to do that for you. So when we can feel the feelings of like what happened in the past and release that, and release trauma from our physical body, it's not just all about talking about it or journaling about it, but actually being able to physically release it, because it kind of gets stuck in our being. So when we can release it, we clear the way. It's almost like, the image I keep getting is a torch. In America and Canada, I think it's called a flashlight. You know, the thing that has batteries in it that shines a light when it's dark. That's like our worth and our worthiness. And so what happens, that's how we're born, this light, it's pure, it's bright. And then what happens is we experience these things with our family, and it's like things get layered on top of the light. It's like putting a thick black winter coat over the light. The light's still there, but you can't see it, it's covered. And so by looking at our patterns and where they came from, we take that material, that shit that's on top of the light, we take it off so that we can shine, and we can be, when we can shine in that way, we easily attract what it is that we desire in relationships and in every other area of our life, really. So this tree is giving us some good shit, guys. We thank the tree. Thank you, tree. What else do I need to tell you about that? So yeah, so in 5 Days to Love, we are going to get clear on the type of relationship you want, and I also recommend going deeper in the empowerment method, because that's going to help you get underneath it all. Footage that we missed. What did we miss just then? We missed a black Labrador walking past me, dropping a ball for me to throw it. It like melted my heart. I love the animals so much. So another analogy is like when we're choosing what we want our future partner to be like, we're effectively designing our dream house. Like, this is the house, this is what I want it to look like, this is how I'm going to furnish it. It's going to have, you know, this many bedrooms. I'm going to pick out this sofa and these throw cushions, and that's so important. But then what if you've built it on a plot of land that's got like quicksand? You wouldn't do that, right? So we've got to get a lay of the land, and I call that emotional excavation, and that's what I go through in the method, is digging out all these rocks and rubble and crap, so that when we build, we're building on solid ground, you know? So that's my parting wisdom for you. So if you want to get into 5 Days to Love, the link's in my bio. There's also a special code to get into the method, 25% off until Sunday, and we thank and honour this tree for its infinite wisdom.